My 33F wife is upset with me after I 35M told her I won't go on work trips anymore.
My wife and I have an almost 2-year-old child. We are in Canada, so my wife took about 15 months of mat/parental leave and went back to work this past July. I also took 3 months of parental leave when our child was born. For the first 3 months, we did everything together. However, I will admit that for a lot of the period between when I went back to work and she was on mat leave, I didn't do as much as I could, and I will never forgive myself for that. I've apologized to her for that, and I know it was hard. Since she's gone back to work, it's back to being 5050. This includes planning and the mental load, and not just being told what to do. In the back half of this year, I've had to make a few work trips to the US. The first one I declined because my wife couldn't take time off going to the office. The second one I really had to go. It was 2 days and my wife said it was okay.
However, during the entire trip she was a bit cold, and when I came back she told me how tiring it was, and it came up in fights too that I left her alone and she had to do everything. I had to go again this past week. When I learned about the trip, I told my wife I'm not going because I know she had a hard time. This trip was one night only and she said no, I absolutely must go and she will be fine. So I said yes. Again, the day before the trip she made a sarcastic remark about me leaving her alone. During the trip she kept telling me how tired she was. When I got back she yelled at me again, asking why I didn't get her a souvenir and that she had to do everything at home and she's so tired and not feeling well. So I said okay, I understand, and I won't go on any work trips in the future. She called me an asshole and said I was gaslighting her.
She said she just needed me to listen and not make everything about myself. I really don't know what to do. I explicitly asked her and said I wouldn't go on this trip. She said yes. Then she said it was too much. So I said I wouldn't go in the future. Now she says I'm an asshole. How do I handle this going forward?
So I said okay, I understand, and I won't go on any work trips in the future. She called me an asshole and said I was gaslighting her. She said she just needed me to listen and not make everything about myself. Talk to her and explain that there's a difference between venting or sharing versus taking her emotions out on you. Let her know you're always available if she needs you to listen or needs some support, but you're not going to tolerate her taking her emotions out on you.
Well, there's no point in looking for a solution until she's decided what she thinks the problem is, and at the moment she seems confused around that. It sounds like she wants to be able to handle everything alone. But when faced with it she can't do it. Perhaps hire help during work trips like a house cleaner.
So you have a breakdown in communication between your wife saying go and then being salty about it, leaving you with a no-win situation. So what is too much for her that is missing when you are not there? I guess she works as well as childcare, so there is no time off for her between the two and she gets overwhelmed. Does she need downtime? Does the child not give her a space for getting ready? Because this isn't a one-time issue. I am feeling that you don't forgive yourself much from your statement that you will never forgive yourself, so that suggests that you might be running on guilt feelings instead of rational ones. People make mistakes. It is what you do after that matters, and a fixed goalpost is a winner here. I.e., I did this to make up for it, repair it, etc. If she is the type to use shame and silent treatment, that is actually emotional manipulation and a form of abusive traits that are used to make the other person feel guilt so they will do as you want. If you do some work into this, you can find out how to rephrase things and perhaps manage the boundaries better. By that I mean clear, consistent boundaries, like saying no and sticking to it. By repeating yourself, i.e., you said okay to go. So please tell me how you are feeling now so that we can either listen to you vent and move forward, or find a solution. Which do you want? Because I can do either or both, but continuing to punish me with this silent treatment isn't working in a healthy relationship that I want this to be for us and our child. If you have such a person, it can be helpful to think about not jading, justify, argue, defend or explain as a training tool. It reminds you not to get dragged into conversations that are not productive for you and can be part of boundary keeping if used with care to understand that the other person wants a fight or to argue or to blame you for something. Just be aware that they can get worse until they understand you are not playing this particular game. I don't think your wife is right for how she's gone about this in the slightest from what you've said about not helping as much as you maybe should have when you worked and she was on maternity leave. Is there any chance there's lingering resentment? I think you should sit down and discuss what you want the next work trip away to look like. By this I mean, would it be easier on her if you did meal prep together before you left? If you jointly agree laundry can wait until you're back? Can you jointly arrange a hired cleaner, food delivery, childcare help? The reason I've said jointly for all of these suggestions is because you can take the mental load of suggesting these things, but it sounds like she wants some control, so this would offer her that. I have to admit, when my partner neglects me, our relationship, and I bring it up, the worst thing he could say is, "Fine. I won't do XYZ anymore," because that makes me feel like I've asked him to not do something, as opposed to asking him to just give more to the relationship. I wonder if that's how your wife feels when you said you won't go on trips. Truthfully, I don't think it's your job to resolve this. But you've offered to just not go away and she's rejected that, so some middle ground is needed, and it doesn't sound like she wants to initiate that. Have a discussion. Find out what, if anything, you can do to make it easier on her, and this will help you work out if she actually needs anything, or if this is a situation where everything you do will be wrong. She can't look after your kid for 2 days without you? That's insane. You need to sit down together and find out what's actually bothering her. You darling are in a no-win situation. I'd just turn down work trips unless you have no choice but to go. If she should ask why no work trips anymore, I'd say I would rather be here with my family. I can hear a horde of single mothers outside your house ready to hurl dirty diapers at your wife. Tell her to put her big girl panties on and step up. If it was her being sent on a business trip for a day, do you think she would ask you if it was okay? Or hesitate to go? Geez. Your wife wants you to recognize her hard work and that you are interested in the difficulties she managed while you've been away. That's all. She wants you to listen, not to fix the situation. Most of the time, women just want their partner to hear them and to take their issues seriously. It's not always a demand to solve the problem. "Hey, I know it was a hard couple of days. You did a great job. I appreciate you," is most of the time all we want. There may not be anything you can do, but you could try asking her what you can do to make her life easier when you are gone. This could be as simple as giving her a break the weekend before you leave. At least one day to sleep in, etc. Perhaps cooking a ham, roast beef, or a pan of lasagna the night before you leave so she can have a few easy meals would be an option. Do you or her have any nearby relatives you can have do a drop-in when you are gone? It sounds like she thinks you're manipulating her, but using the word gaslighting. Like, if you go, "Fine. I guess I won't ever speak again," if someone tells you you said something hurtful, that's usually manipulation. So she has complained about how hard it was without you. Maybe in a weird way trying to say she really missed you. And you went, "Okay. Guess I won't leave ever again then." I think you two need to learn to communicate better. Maybe with the help of a couples therapist. I do have to also say I'm pretty sus on any guy who says it's exactly 50-50 in his household. Men tend to overestimate by quite a lot. It's been studied. I'd love to hear her side.
Ask her for the solution.
It sounds like there is more to this than has been expressed. Maybe she needs more vocal validation from you about how hard you know it will be for her and how grateful you are to her. Her being mad you didn't bring a souvenir screams to me that she felt like you didn't show her the appreciation or recognition she was wanting. She also may have pent-up resentment for you not pulling your weight in the past. If that's the case, it's certainly understandable, but something y'all need to talk about and with through. Along with another commenter's post, as well as words of appreciation. I think that your comment on the souvenir shows that one of your wife's love languages is gifts. Please take the time to read Gary Chapman's book The 5 Love Languages, or even The 5 Love Languages. For couples, they are really easy reads, and I think it will help you a lot. I think you need marriage counseling. You described that you essentially sucked as a partner and parent for a long time. You going on work trips is probably triggering because it reminds her that you have the propensity for being selfish and unhelpful. When you leave, it feels like you're going to check out again. She's trying to mentally talk her way through being rational. So she says okay, you can go. But emotionally she's not there. Plus she turned down her own work trips without being asked, so as to not put the burden of solo parenting on you. Sounds like she thinks that that is the right thing to do. And she's waiting for you to figure out on your own that that is the correct choice. I'm not saying what is right or wrong in this situation, but I do think you need to address this with professional help before this festers into even bigger issues. Unfortunately, she seems lack impulsive control. The same happens with my GF. She will just scream and say the first thing on her mind. I don't think there is anything you can do here. Just ask her what she wants and then watch her behave differently on the first occasion.
She sounds childish.
Sounds like she wants you to listen to her feelings and sympathize, not fix the problem. Sometimes people want empathy, not solutions. You can ask her which she wants, conversation by conversation, so long as you can do it without sounding sarcastic. Also, your current way of handling this reframes the convo as being about you, your blame, your fault, your actions. Keep it about her and what she's feeling, and show you are thinking about what she's going through. Google for a video called "It's Not About the Nail." Have you considered offering her a break and a heartfelt thank you instead of a passive-aggressive declaration that you won't go on work trips, which she knows are part of the job and that refusing could hinder your career growth?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.